Welcome back to the deep dive. You know, we often search for the divine in really grand places, don't we? Temples, mountaintops, abstract ideas. But what if it's closer, like woven into everyday life, just waiting for us to notice? Today, we're doing a deep dive into Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10. It's called the Yoga of Divine Opulences, or Vibhuti Yoga. And it's fascinating because it builds on all that talk about devotion we've covered, but gives us this, well, practical way to see the divine, like right here. In cosmic stuff, sure, but also in nature, even in, like, human qualities. So our mission today, let's unpack this ancient chapter and see how it gives us a real framework for spotting divine presence everywhere.
That's a great way to put it. Chapter 10 really is a pivot point. Krishna's been talking the principles, the self-devotion, but here he shifts gears. He gives Arjuna and us really something tangible, a method. It's about how to actually perceive the divine in the world, not just think about it as some abstract concept.
Makes it accessible, right? Not just for sages. Okay, so where does Krishna start? He kicks off with this, well, massive declaration. He basically says, I'm the source of everything. It's not just about being powerful, it's foundational.
Exactly. He says he's the origin of the gods, the celestial beings, and also the great sages, these really enlightened figures. But then, and this is where it gets really interesting, he says he's also the source of all our human qualities, things like our intelligence, knowledge, forgiveness, truthfulness, even happiness and sorrow.
Wow. So our very nature, how we think, how we feel, it all comes from him.
That's the claim. It means there's really no part of us or the world that's separate from this divine origin.
So, okay, what does that mean for us then, if we really get that?
Well, the Gita says that understanding this, truly understanding Krishna as the unborn, beginningless source, frees you from illusions, from, well, the consequences of negative action, sins. It's not just head knowledge.
It's a deep realization.
It is. And think about unborn and beginningless. It points to something beyond time, beyond the cycles of birth and death we see everywhere. So if you anchor yourself in that understanding, the ups and downs of life, the impermanence, it loses its grip on you.
Ah, I see. It provides a kind of stability, freedom from that anxiety of change.
Precisely. That's the liberation it talks about.
Okay, so if Krishna is this eternal, infinite source, how do we even connect with that? How do we approach it?
Through devotion. That's the pathway the Gita highlights here. True devotion.
And what does that look like, according to this chapter?
It describes true devotees as having their minds, their whole lives, just absorbed in Krishna. They're not just, paying lip service. Their focus is there. And they love talking about it, enlightening each other.
Oh, right. Sharing their experiences and insights.
Exactly. It's an active, shared thing. They build each other up, spiritually speaking.
And it's a two-way street, isn't it? The text mentions Krishna helps them out.
Yes, absolutely. It says, out of compassion, he gives these devoted souls Buddhi Yoga, spiritual intelligence.
Buddhi Yoga. Can you unpack that a bit more? Is it just being smart about spiritual stuff?
It's more specific than that. It's like a focused wisdom. The ability to discern what truly leads you to the divine. Think of it as an inner compass, maybe. Calibrated perfectly for the spiritual journey. It helps you cut through distractions.
So it's not just understanding, but applying that understanding and making the right choices.
Exactly. It's the grace that helps you see the path clearly and stay on it. It comes from that sincere effort, that devotion, being met by divine help.
Okay, that makes sense. So after explaining all this, Arjuna responds. He seems convinced.
He is. It's a really powerful moment. Arjuna explicitly acknowledges Krishna. He calls him the supreme divine personality, the supreme abode, the eternal God, full acceptance.
And he doesn't just rely on his own experience, right?
No, that's significant. He says, look, the great sages, people like Narada, Asita, Devala, Vyasa, they've all said this about you too. It adds this layer of validation, grounding Krishna's claims and tradition and the words of recognized masters.
Right, strengthens the case. And then comes the big question.
Yes. Arjuna, now fully on board and eager, basically asks, okay, I believe you. Now tell me how. How can I see you everywhere? How can I constantly meditate on you?
He wants the practical details.
He wants the practical details. He's asking for those divine manifestations, the vibhuti, the opulences. Show me your glories in the world so I can focus on them.
And this request really opens the door for the rest of the chapter, doesn't it? It shifts from the who and why to the how.
Absolutely crucial, because how do we grasp the infinite with our finite minds? Arjuna needs handles, points of focus, and the vibhuti are exactly that. They're like divine signposts, peak examples in creation that point back to the source.
So Krishna responds. And it's not a short list.
Not at all. He gives this long, amazing list, but he prefaces it by saying, look, my glories are infinite. I'm just giving you the main ones, some highlights.
Just a glimpse.
Just a glimpse. The idea isn't to memorize a list, but to learn a way of seeing, to train your perception, to recognize divinity in excellence, in power, in beauty.
Okay, let's dive into some examples because they really make it concrete. He covers so much ground.
He really does.
He says, among the Aditya celestial gods, I am Vishnu. That feels intuitive, given Vishnu's status.
Right. A primary form.
Among sages, I am Bhrigu, a key Vedic figure. And then this one must have hit home for Arjuna. Among the Pandavas, I am you, Arjuna.
Imagine hearing that. A direct reflection of the divine in himself.
Talk about personal. And among the Vedas, the Samaveda, the Veda of chants and melody.
Embodying divine sound, its sweetness and power.
Among animals, the lion. Strength, majesty.
The king of beasts, representing that regal power.
Among rivers, the Ganges. So central, so symbolic of purity.
Life-giving, spiritually purifying. A major presence.
Among mountains, the Himalayas. Grandeur, stillness.
Immovable, vast, a place of spiritual significance.
And even something as fundamental as, among letters, I am the letter A.
The beginning, the source sound in Sanskrit, points to that fundamental origin.
And he's also the mind, the self-knowledge, the beginning, middle, and end of everything.
It's incredibly diverse, isn't it? From the cosmic scale of Vishnu down to the first letter of the alphabet, and internal things like the mind itself.
It really shows that the divine isn't just out there, but, well, everywhere. Inside and out.
That's the whole point. These examples aren't just random. They teach you to look for the peak, the essence, the most powerful or beautiful or fundamental aspect of any category, and see that as a direct manifestation of Krishna's energy. It's a meditation technique, really.
A way to see God's signature everywhere, not just in a temple.
Exactly. And the lions roar, the rivers flow, the first sound, your own mind.
So after giving all these examples, this huge list, what's the final takeaway? What's the core message Krishna drives home about these vibhuti?
He wraps it up with something truly perspective-shattering. He says essentially, know this, Arjuna. Whatever you see in the world that is glorious, beautiful, or powerful, understand that it springs from just a tiny spark, a mere fragment of my splendor.
A tiny fragment. So even the most amazing things we see are just hints.
Just hints. Whispers. It puts everything into perspective, doesn't it? The grandeur we perceive is infinitesimal compared to the source.
That's, yeah, mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And he also says nothing can exist without him, moving or non-moving.
Correct. It underlines his immanence. He's not just the creator way back when. He's the sustaining force within everything right now. The implication is staggering. The entire universe, all of creation, is supported by just a fraction of his infinite energy, his yoga maya.
It points to something incomprehensible.
Completely. And understanding this, even conceptually, starts to expand our capacity to perceive the divine. It prepares the mind, the vision, for deeper understanding. It's like adjusting your eyes to see beyond the immediate glare, to glimpse the vastness behind it. It's preparation for potentially seeing even more, like Arjuna does later.
So this whole chapter, this deep dive into chapter 10, it really gives us this powerful, almost practical tool, doesn't it? It's about seeing the divine not as some abstract idea, but as present, right here, pervasive.
Absolutely. It's a framework for daily spiritual practice. It encourages you, actively look for God's presence. In nature, yes, but also in human qualities. Intelligence, compassion, strength. It literally teaches you to see the world with new eyes.
Learning to read that divine signature, like you said, in everything.
Right. And I mean, spirituality isn't about withdrawing. Vibhuti yoga is about engaging with the world, but perceiving it differently. It turns everyday life into a field for constant remembrance and connection.
So for you listening, maybe here's something to chew on. If everything truly glorious or beautiful or powerful that you come across, a stunning sunset, a brilliant idea someone shares, maybe even a moment of inner strength you find, if that's all just a tiny spark of an infinite splendor, how does that change things? How might you look at your next sunrise differently? Or appreciate intelligence or creativity or even just the start of a new day? What happens if you actively start looking for these divine opulences in your own life? How might that shift your everyday perception? That's it for this deep dive.